What's up everyone? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, what's up? My name is Courtney Capano. I'm so excited to have you. I recently decided to film another one of these videos. I have a whole series of Girl Talk videos that I will link down below, and the goal of these videos is really just to connect with other women out there on certain topics that maybe we don't talk about enough. And so I asked a question on my Instagram and on YouTube. I asked for people to submit certain topics they'd want to hear me talk about, or advice that they're looking for, or questions that they have around just, I don't know, maybe taboo subjects or things that are just not talked about enough in everyday life. So thank you for everyone that submitted a question. I had so many responses that I needed to break up the content into 2 videos. So I will link the other one up here. Topics in this video are really around pregnancy, things like trying to get pregnant, so the TTC period, body image, miscarriages, postpartum, sleep habits. I do like to call out that I am not an expert, in case you thought I was for whatever reason. I only have this playlist on my channel to talk about my experience and give advice based on how I feel about certain topics, things that I've learned, things that I wish I didn't do, things I regret, advice I want to give based on my experiences. This is just that. So please don't expect anything too serious around these videos. It's just me sharing my advice and my thoughts. That's all I can do. I'm out of breath. Also, if you are new here and you don't know, I am currently pregnant with twins, hence twin mama crew neck, and I am out of breath often, so bear with me here. This is the fun stuff. I love talking about pregnancy, and I had some questions come through that I had not talked about in previous videos, and I'm really excited to talk about because I obviously have not completed my pregnancy yet. I have not had a newborn. I can't really speak to that stuff, but there's a lot of things that I've gone through already, even just being 19 weeks pregnant, that I think can be relatable to other people. Even if you're not pregnant yet, I had a lot of questions around trying to conceive, so I'm gonna start with those ones. So a good amount of people ask questions around, how did you know when you were ready to start trying to be pregnant? And I thought that was such a good question, because I don't know if for us there was like a moment where we were like, okay, we're ready. Like, we are just ready. We got married back in 2020, and we knew at that point that we weren't ready. I think we both felt like a little bit of pressure from our families. They wanted us to start trying like last year, and it didn't like excite us on our own. So I think a first piece of advice is that you're gonna probably have a lot of people in your life pressuring you to have babies at some point, but like really make sure you two are like laying in bed at the end of the day excited about a family, because that should be the biggest indicator that you're ready. So eventually we just really started talking about like the future with children, and we would be giddy talking about it. It would be like the only thing that we talked about at nighttime, and we just knew like it was really just honestly like a one-day thing. We were like, okay, should we start trying now? And we did. And again, like for us, we were married, we had a house together, like all these things. I don't think that those need to be the prerequisites for being ready to start a family. I think that you don't need to be married. I think that you don't need to have a house with someone. I would say living with a partner is a good starting point, but I think as long as the idea of starting a family excites you and you are equipped with all of the essential needs to like provide for a family, like shelter, water, food, all those things, like, then I don't know, I think you'll just know. And as like a woman specifically, you're carrying the child, you're going to be going through the biggest life change of your existence. Like your body, I'm telling you right now, has never gone through something like that before. So I think mentally, you specifically need to be ready to take all of that on, and when it starts to excite you, then you're probably ready. So that's just as simple as it was for us. Okay, so then the next few questions are really around the TTC period, trying to conceive period. Someone wrote, can you talk more about the period of time when y'all were trying to get pregnant? So I definitely want to touch on this because I have not talked about this before, and I'm gonna be like honest with our experience during the TTC period. So we were trying for 2 months and then we got pregnant. I've talked about this before in other videos, that I have had certain things throughout my life, like before we were trying to get pregnant, you know, starting in college, I had certain things happen to me and certain tests done where I was not sure that it was going to be like easy or possible for me to get pregnant, and luckily I made some changes in my life, and that obviously is not the case because I'm pregnant right now. So at some point maybe I'll talk about that. But the reason I say that is because I had this like looming fear that it was not going to work for us, like we were not going to be able to get pregnant. So even when it just didn't work for 1 month, I know that that is something women try for so much longer than that. I'm not taking away from like other women that are trying to conceive for so much longer, but when it didn't work for us in a month, I was really, really down, because in my head I was like, wow, it's really not going to work for us. That all being said, I wish that in that first month of trying to conceive, I didn't put so much pressure on myself, because I 1000% believe that because I was so stressed out that it wasn't going to work, that is why it didn't work. My doctor said to me at one point, like, you need to just have fun. Like, why are you so worried? You're young, whatever. And so, so that was the first month of us trying to conceive, and it was stressful, and I hit a little bit of a dark point, but we decided, like, okay, we're gonna try again this month, and we are going to have fun, and we are going to just like enjoy this experience. I know, it's like, okay, you were having sex, we get it. And so I will say the second month I was using ovulation tracking sticks. I got them from Target. They're super cheap. If you want the ones that I use, I can link them down below. Super easy, and honestly it gave me like a peace of mind. I kind of knew when I was ovulating. I just think that it's important to know that trying to conceive is really hard. There's only a certain window of time that it can work, and everything needs to be like perfect. The stars need to be aligned for you to get pregnant. So if it's not working for you right now, it's okay. Like, just try not to put so much stress on yourself, and as women that's so much easier said than done. But for us, I really believe that because I took a breath and enjoyed the experience, that's why we were blessed with these 2 twin baby girls. Next question is how to prepare for pregnancy. Just to put it out there, there's nothing you can do to prepare for pregnancy because you have no idea how your pregnancy is going to go. Did I think I was ever going to be pregnant with twins? Did I ever think I was going to have a high-risk pregnancy? Did I ever think I was going to be as sick as I was the first trimester? Maybe I thought that a little bit, but mentally, I think that when you're preparing for pregnancy, you need to prepare for just anything that can possibly come your way. You need to prepare to be adaptable. Honor what you need in your pregnancy, especially that first trimester. I think for me with pregnancy, what I was the least prepared for was how scared I was going to feel about them surviving the first trimester. I don't know if that is something that everyone feels, and I say them because I have 2. I think I would feel the same way if it was a singleton. I didn't realize how scared I was going to be every time I went to the bathroom and checked myself for blood or clots that would indicate a miscarriage. I think I didn't realize how hard that was going to be. And I do want to say that that fear does dwindle down as you get through your second trimester and things start going in a good direction for you. Like, if you're a mom out there in your first trimester and you were like so afraid of just getting through that first trimester, I am so with you. And I wish that I prepared for that more because I didn't realize how scared I was going to feel. Obviously, I knew that there's a chance of miscarriage with every pregnancy, but I didn't know how scared I was going to be of it happening to me. The only thing you can do is try to remain calm and not overthink anything, because there's nothing you can do to prevent a miscarriage if it's going to happen. So knowing that somehow gave me peace, because my body's gonna do what it's gonna do. So trying to accept that and find peace with it will help you. As far as like preparing for like the body change in pregnancy, I was just so sick and nauseous my whole first trimester. I was just so sick and nauseous. There's really nothing you can do. You just roll with it when it's here. And again, just be ready to roll with whatever physical like situation you end up having. I will say that it does get better. I just hit like a point about 14-15 weeks into my pregnancy, and I have felt amazing. I'm just starting to get really bad heartburn. I guess that's pretty common at 19 weeks because their hair is starting to grow. So you just have to be ready to like take on whatever is happening, and just know that for me, what's really helped me is knowing that every sickness that I feel and every new symptom that I have, it just means that they're growing and they're healthy and they're doing what they're supposed to. So you just have to be willing to take on the physical symptoms. Hopefully that's helpful to help you prepare for pregnancy if you are eventually planning on trying to have a sweet little babe. I had a lot of questions around miscarriages. I touched on it a little bit. I honestly get really emotional when I talk about miscarriages because I know so many women that have had them, and it's one of my greatest fears. I cannot imagine. So I'm not gonna come on here and really give any advice on how to like reduce your fear of miscarrying. I think it's something that every pregnant woman thinks about every day. I know I do, and I just thank God and my lucky stars every night that I go to bed and these babes are still in me and they're growing. And I think that's all you can do. I think the biggest thing that I can say to you, mama out there, or whoever you are, if you haven't even had a baby yet, is that it is not your fault if you miscarry. It is so common. So many women experience it, and it just happens. This is like a hard subject to talk about when you're pregnant, honestly. Like, I don't know if anyone relates. I worry about it constantly. There's nothing anyone can say. And that's just something also to just prepare for with pregnancy, that it is a fear, but it's also, it makes you so grateful for every day that you get with them in your belly. And I'm gonna start crying, so I don't want to talk about this anymore. On to another question. This one made me laugh. They wrote, what the heck do you do when you find out you're pregnant? That made me laugh because I read that first and I was like, oh, like, do you mean if you're not trying to get pregnant and you find out you're pregnant? I thought about it more, and you probably mean like, what is the first step that you take? So I guess I'll say what I took. So I found out I was pregnant and I wanted to tell everybody immediately, and I couldn't. That's a hard situation because you may tell whoever you want in your circle, like do whatever you want when you find out you're pregnant, but we obviously didn't want to tell anyone yet. So I do have a whole video on this if you want to watch it. I'll link it up here, the moment that I found out I was pregnant and then told my husband. But my first step was I called my doctor. I guess I do want to note a few things here. A piece of advice that I have with when you're trying to get pregnant is to not take a pregnancy test until after your missed period, because one, like, it's the most accurate, like a test is going to be the most accurate after you've missed your period. And two, I didn't realize that you can't even see a doctor until you're 8 weeks pregnant. So I found out, luckily I waited till after I missed my period. So I was like 5 weeks pregnant, so I only had to wait like 3 weeks. But if you take a pregnancy test before you miss your period and just a few days after ovulation, like, you're waiting so long to go check on your baby, and that would stress me out more. So if you can, try to wait it out until you miss your period, and that way it's not too long of a period of time that you have to wait. So I called my doctor and I was shocked because I was like, hey, I'm pregnant, like, can we come in tomorrow to check on everything? She was like, nope, 3 weeks from now you can come in and check on everything. It was like the longest 3 weeks. And then I told my dog that I was pregnant because he was the only one home. And then I told Jonathan later that night, again in that video, you'll see that. But that's kind of it. You just have to wait, and then you go to the doctor. The doctor does like a Doppler on your belly and shows you the little tiny fetus, or I don't even think it's a fetus at that point, it's called the embryo or something. And they confirm there's like a heartbeat and that it's viable and all that good stuff. And so everyone's different. I mean, for us, we then found out soon that we were having twins, and so we ended up seeing a doctor very often throughout the first trimester because of the type of twin pregnancy that we have or whatever. But you may meet with a doctor and then you don't see them again until 12 weeks. So it all just depends. But that was what I did when I found out I was pregnant. So I hope that was helpful. So the next section in this video is around postpartum. And I did have a few questions on this, which I thought was interesting because obviously I have not experienced the postpartum period yet. But I think the questions were really around, like, how are you preparing for that? And, you know, what are you scared of with postpartum and you know, things like that. So I was actually watching a YouTube video of this woman that recently had a baby, and she said that she felt like, you know, before she delivered the baby and before her postpartum period, she felt like she had read a lot of articles and resources on the postpartum period, and she felt like she was pretty prepared for what she was going to experience. But then when it happened to her, she felt like there was literally no amount of research she could have done to actually prepare her for that, you know, period of time in her life. And I think that actually has given me some peace, because I want to enter my postpartum season of life prepared, but also like with this idea that I'm going to give myself so much grace to, you know, feel however I'm going to feel during that time. And so that's how I'm preparing. I'm going to just like feel how I feel and do what I need to do to nurture myself, because if I'm not taking care of myself during that period, I'm not going to be able to take care of my babies. You need to figure out how you're going to navigate the emotions that come with postpartum, how you're going to accept, you know, that this is now your life and you have this huge new responsibility, and, you know, you're no longer keeping these babies safe in your belly, and, you know, all these things that I hear women feel during that crazy period of time. And I think I'm just trying to understand all the different possibilities of how I'm going to be feeling and go into it with no expectations for myself other than, you know, I'm going to take care of you, girl. Like telling myself, I'm going to take care of you because I want you to be able to take care of your babies. Another question that came through, a few questions around body image. Someone wrote in, accepting your body when you want to lose weight. And I am not going to spend too much time talking about like losing weight, because I am not like an expert in this area. I think this is such a sensitive topic that I'm just not comfortable fully talking about. But I think the only thing I'll say is, if you are not happy with how you look physically and you want to reach a goal, whatever that is for you, I think that the best thing you can do is to try to enjoy the process of working on yourself. And that doesn't necessarily have to mean that you love your body while you're trying to lose weight, because that may just not be realistic. You may not love your body in that period of time for whatever reason. I don't think you need to put a pressure on yourself to like love the way you look if that's not actually how you're feeling. However, I think you should always try to love the journey of getting your body to a place that you're going to be proud. And I don't know if that makes sense, but for me, when I've had periods of time in my life where I was not happy with how I looked, I was living a lifestyle that wasn't healthy, I tried to just love the process of like, okay, I'm going to get myself back to feeling good, and I'm going to love, I guess I have said to myself, I'm going to love my body on that journey. And it's not really about looking in the mirror and loving the image I'm seeing. It's more like, I'm going to love this body for, you know, all the work it's going to put into getting back to a healthier state. So that's really all I'm going to say. And I'm also adopting that mindset for, you know, my growing body right now. I'm already feeling changes. I know that after these twin babies come out, I'm going to look very different, and I'm going to maybe not love what I see in the mirror every single day, but I'm definitely going to love what my body just went through to create my daughters. But I'm also going to try to love the process of getting back to a healthy state, because all you have in life is a short amount of time. And if you spend a lot of that time, you know, not enjoying, you know, the body you're in, I think it's a waste. So that's all I'm going to say on body image, because it's not my forte, but I hope that was helpful. So I did get a question on aging and Botox. Someone wrote in like feeling pressured to look filtered in real life. So this is interesting because I have like mixed feelings on Botox specifically. I do believe in aging gracefully. I am someone that I have no intention of getting like plastic surgery through my life. I look at like my mother and I think she is so beautiful. I love the way she's aged. I see a lot of women in my life, my mother-in-law, so beautiful, like they look like them. I don't want to like do anything that's going to cause me to look different, I guess. But that being said, Botox specifically, personally, I am a fan of. I've never gotten Botox, but I definitely will. I think Botox allows you to like clear imperfections on your face the same way that you do when you like put makeup on. Like I think Botox kind of just gets rid of maybe some fine lines that you don't love, little imperfections that you just want to fix that don't necessarily alter your face. So for me, Botox, definite yes, go for it. It just kind of cleans up your little imperfections. The second part of that question was around feeling pressure to look filtered in real life, and I think this comes directly from social media with all of the crazy filters that you see on Instagram and Snapchat that perfect your face and you know, make you fall into this bucket of like traditional beauty with the thin nose and the big eyes and whatever, and it messes with your mind. Like, even if you accidentally put that filter on as you're scrolling through Snapchat and you see your face look tightened up and perfect, and then you go to the next filter or take the filter off and you have your face again, and it's like, whoa, I didn't realize I wish that I looked different, but I guess I do. And I think that has translated into a lot of women wanting to get work done on their face or wanting to wear makeup everywhere that they go. And so I would say something that works for me is to not use any of those filters. I definitely use filters on my Instagram story, but more so because I like the colored, like the moody colors of filters and the graininess of filters, not anything that alters my face. I think try not to ever alter your face, because I hate to break it to you, but your face is your face, and in everyday life people are going to see what you look like, so you might as well put that on social media. That's why on my YouTube channel, when I vlog and when I do things, I try to always have a lot of clips of me without makeup on, showing what I look like, because it's, as much as it's for you guys to see someone that looks, you know, like I'm not fully done up, it's also really good for my mental health, because it allows me to feel good about, you know, I look fine without makeup on, and I don't need to put on this show everywhere I go, even though it is much more comfortable to be filtered. It definitely is. That's just kind of like where I'm at with like aging, Botox, being filtered. I think you have to do little things to like be who you are, and you know, your face is yours and it's no one else's, so show it off and don't try to cover it up. Okay, so the next topic was really fun, and I will read verbatim what this person wrote in. They wrote, vaginas, girlfriend. Cervix positioning, basal body temp, mucus, all should be more normalized! Exclamation point. I love this one, and I could not agree more. So again, not a doctor. I honestly screenshotted a few like definitions of some of the things I'm going to talk about, just to be as technical as I can and not misspeak, because you have to really have all the information to fully understand. So with cervix positioning, cervical mucus, basal body temp, all of these things can be used to understand your fertility. Even if you're not trying to get pregnant, you just want to better understand your menstrual cycle, these are very important things to understand about your body, to understand your cycle. And so with cervix positioning, I guess taking a step back, if you don't know what your cervix is, which is okay, it is the bottom part of your uterus that connects to your vagina. It's like the middleman. Uterus, cervix, vagina. So that is your cervix. So your cervix positioning is actually something that changes throughout your menstrual cycle, and it changes when you are pregnant. So if you really fully start to understand your cervix positioning, you can like naturally find out that you're pregnant without taking a pregnancy test, if you're like really good at understanding your body. I opted to take the pregnancy test to confirm. Also, your cervix texture changes throughout your cycle, not just the position. So the texture can also indicate different phases of your menstrual cycle and when you're pregnant. So I did take a screenshot of this piece of guidance on how to check your cervix positioning. So I'm gonna just read that in case it's something that you're interested in giving a go. First, wash your hands well and trim your nails. Next, get into position. Sitting on the toilet or squatting or standing with one leg on the edge of the bathtub are good positions. Use the same position each time you check your cervix. Gently insert 1 or 2 fingers into the vagina. Feel for the cervix located in the upper top or front. With practice, you'll start to notice the changes your cervix goes through during monthly cycles, because every woman's cycle is different, including the lengths of each different phase. I've talked about menstrual cycle phases in another video. It was one of my other Girl Talk videos, so definitely check that out. It may take several cycles before you get to know your body. Some people are squeamish about checking during bleeding and wait until menstrual flow stops, so it's really up to you, but you'll start to understand the different phases of your cycle based on, you know, your cervix position and texture. So there's a lot of resources out there, definitely check them out. But if you're interested in getting to know your body and connecting with your body a little bit more, try this out. I think it could be really cool. And I love that this person brought it up, because it's something that I think is just an incredible way to kind of take ownership of your body and understand its incredible, I don't know, phases that it goes through. And then, as I mentioned, you can also monitor your cervical mucus. So I also took a screenshot of this to not speak out of turn here. So as ovulation approaches, your cervical mucus changes and becomes more sperm friendly or fertile. Right after ovulation, the cervical mucus changes back to the less fertile kind. While each body is different, cervical mucus generally goes through several stages of consistency. So either dry or sticky, which means you're not yet ovulating. Creamy, which means ovulation may be coming. Wet is when you're close to ovulation. And then raw egg white consistency means your ovulation is approaching. This is the best time to have sex if you want to get pregnant. So I definitely really found a way to understand my cervical mucus as we were trying to get pregnant. I had a gynecologist appointment a few months before we started trying, and I let her know, like, we're trying. And she gave me, it was a midwife, she gave me the lowdown on cervical mucus. I don't know, I think it's empowering if this is your vibe. If you're not into it, like, just take a ovulation test and be good to go. And then the last thing that I mentioned is basal body temperature. So this is something that I didn't track or really get to know about my body. I think if we try to get pregnant again down the line, I want to, like, be more in tune with my basal body temperature. But essentially, your basal body temp is the lowest temperature that your body hits in a day, and it's usually like early in the morning or right after like a period of rest. So the reason that you can use this basal body temp to help you understand like your fertility is because right before ovulation or right before like your egg drops, your basal body temperature may go a few degrees lower. So if you take your temperature every morning and it's kind of the same at that resting, time of day, then if you notice it's a few degrees lower, it probably means you're about to ovulate and you are fertile. So thank you for submitting that one. I've never talked about this before on my channel, but it's something that fascinates me. I love understanding, the phases of my cycle, and it's been really cool to continue to learn more, so hopefully it was helpful for you. The last topic in this video was around sleep habits and tips. So the specific question that I got was, do you recommend anything for getting better sleep? It is so hard for me to get tired. Love you. Love you too. First of all, I don't know if I've ever said this on my channel before, but it takes me so long to fall asleep, at least an hour every single night. So I may not be the best person to offer advice, but I think the biggest thing with trying to find ways to more easily fall asleep is to understand what it is that's keeping you awake. So I think it's different for a lot of people. For me, my mind just races before bed. Like, it's interesting because Jonathan, he falls asleep very easily anyway, but he says that once he lays down, like, his mind does not race. He gets to a much more relaxed state. His mind races more when he's active throughout the day, but mine is running 1,000 miles a minute the second my head hits my pillow. So for me, I need to do things that allow my mind to be distracted from its own thoughts. So I really need to listen to a podcast, listen to a meditation track, listen to music that's just stimulating enough to not let my own thoughts keep me awake. But I know for some people, it's like the opposite. They can't have anything that's going to stimulate them too much because that'll keep them awake even more. So I really think it depends on the person. If you're not pregnant, try melatonin. I absolutely love melatonin. I will say if you take too much of it, your body can stop producing natural melatonin. So before pregnancy, because you can't take melatonin in pregnancy, before pregnancy, I would take like 1 to 3 milligrams of melatonin at night, and that was it, like very small amounts. So I don't know, I'm not the best person to give advice because I'm still trying to find ways to fall asleep better or more easily, but those tips have worked for me, so. Okay, I feel like this is going to be a very long video, so I'm going to stop talking now. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, please subscribe, hang out with me. I post videos every week. I love meeting new people, so definitely say what's up down in the comments. And if you want me to link anything or talk more about anything, let me know what you're interested in, and I will somehow get that information over to you. Or I will add one of the topics that you mentioned in a future video. I'm just here to hang out with you guys. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.
I dare you to be wilder. I don't fit into your box. Beauty queens without no flaws.